This is Twit.
Apple, Google, Twitter, Uber, we all wish we were there investing from the very beginning. But how do you know what's going to succeed? Our next guest helps build an app that hopes to connect budding entrepreneurs with investors who might help them on their way to becoming the next big thing. Welcome, COO of The Crowd, Chase Johnson.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, tell us about The Crowd. What is The Crowd?
Sure. Yeah. So The Crowd is where ideas meet opportunity. The Crowd is the world's first mobile app that allows any entrepreneur with a good idea to find a network of potential investors anywhere in the world.
And so one thing that I find really great about this app is you can set filters. Like if you just want to find, if you're an investor and you just want to find female entrepreneurs or, there's different filters. Tell us a little bit about how those filters work.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's essentially how you start the app is you have a filter system where you can look at any industry, geography, revenue, seed stage, and then you can hone in on, 3D printing or clean tech or esports. And then you get a stack of pitching entrepreneurs in 60 seconds or less right to your phone. And from there, you can swipe left or right with your hand, essentially right on the ones that you want to see more about and left on the ones that you like to pass on. And then you get an aggregate, essentially in a portfolio of companies that you're interested in looking further at.
So as a user, you've now collected a list of companies that you're interested in. Like, what is the next step for the user? Is this something where the user then decides themselves that they want to invest in it, or is this like a selection process for a group of venture capitalists who want to know how the crowd feels about a particular concept or idea?
Yeah, so we have basically what we're trying to do is build a relationship. We're a relationship building platform. And if an investor wants to look further at the business, they can then see the description, they can see their company profile, their team, they can see any documents that they've uploaded, any NDA forms or anything that would be important for the investor to know. And then essentially we have a internal chat system where they can basically message the entrepreneur, schedule a Zoom video chat, and brainstorm about any potential equity listings or exchange for capital that they may be interested in.
So is there a minimum investment? Like what if I have $20? Is that enough?
I guess it depends on the entrepreneur. I mean, some entrepreneurs are looking for anything that they can get, and others are looking for a minimum of $10,000 from an accredited investor. It really just depends, on the business and what the agreement is between the two individuals.
For only $20, you too can be a venture capital investor. Big money Morrone over there.
Yeah, that's what they call me.
That's what I'm going to start calling you. Yeah. So a component of this is kind of like a live stream, kind of almost a TV component in a sense, where some of these ideas end up kind of going into something that you can watch. Talk a little bit about that and how you kind of fill that out and what the interactivity is around that.
Yeah. So that's something that we're really excited about. It's called The Crowd TV. You can check it out at thecrowd.net. But essentially what we do is we pair high profile executives, and then we have a former CNBC anchor, Ross Westgate. We filmed our first episode in London, and we basically Skyped in the entrepreneurs. We Skyped in the executives, and then we had Ross mitigate it. And essentially, we had a healthy, good discussion about their business, any growth recommendations that the executives had. And then there was actually a live component, too, so that anyone watching from the crowd could send in questions and interact as well. So it's a way for basically any audience member, but also entrepreneurs to talk about their business in a healthy public forum.
And this webinar that was kind of episode 1, let's say, I noticed when I went to the site, like I couldn't figure out how to play it. Is it out there available to watch after the fact, or do you have to be there live in order to kind of participate?
Yeah, we're gonna create a section that's in talks this week. We're gonna put that up on our website, but it is on YouTube.
Okay.
So you could just search. Yeah, you can search The Crowd live TV episode 1, and there's a whole hour segment there.
All right.
And then we're excited. Actually, shortly after we had 400,000 committed to a couple companies, after this episode, so we're pretty excited about that. And we hope to. And then our next one's going to be a female, all female panel. We want to promote female entrepreneurship because female entrepreneurs only receive 2% of the funding out there. So we think it's important that they have a voice and they have a chance to raise money as well. So that's episode 2, and we look forward to having people tune in.
There we go. There's video of the
so
of episode
this is
1.
the episode. So how is this different than something like Shark Tank?
Sure. So that's kind of where this whole thing started, actually. Chris Shagru and his family, so Nora Shagru, basically they were sitting at home one day, and she wanted to basically invest in one of the companies on the screen. And, he's like, sweetie, that's not possible. And then he thought about it, and he was like, well, why not? And then, so they brainstormed together. And so that's where this was born, actually, was watching Shark Tank. And we hope, the live audience component too is a huge differentiator there. Because the audience then can feel like they're included, but also they have an opportunity to offer to invest or get in contact with the entrepreneur directly.
Within the app, a lot of what I was kind of reading and looking at, there are like these 60-second kind of intros into what the business idea is. Basically, the pitch is 60 seconds or so. Is that enough time for people to make a decision? Or, I guess that encourages people to kind of go through a number of ideas, but is it easy to pitch your great idea in 60 seconds? I've never had a great idea personally. Not one. Still waiting for it, but what do you think?
I think if you can't have a 60-second pitch or less, because when you're on the app, you'll probably know whether you're interested in the idea.
Yeah.
Probably in 30 seconds or less, to be honest with you. So and any startup, any class that you take or any pitch conference that you go to, they'll tell you got to have an elevator pitch that you can say it in 60 seconds or less, or
right.
You're going to lose people's interest. So I think that's the perfect amount of time.
Right.
So, like you said, this was an idea that a young woman had, and her father helped her make it a reality. So it seems like when I was looking through your About page, a lot of the founders are very young, either in high school or at the University of Chicago. What are some of the benefits and the challenges to that?
Yeah, I think that's an ecosystem where young people have a lot of ideas. Ideas are ubiquitous, right? And, people want to will them into reality. And so the college university market is a great place for us to be. And having a young team allows us to be in those ecosystems and really help and network with those ideas to get them on the platform and help them, match with potential investors.
My question has less to do about what you do now, more about the future. I'm talking. This could be a little weird, but maybe not, because I feel like AI is like the term that suddenly gets sandwiched in on every single facet of technology and innovation and all that. Do you think there will be a time where like AI assisted systems can actually make a good determination as far as whether something is a good idea, a palatable idea to put venture capital behind?
Yeah, that's a fascinating topic, especially with all the facial recognition that's going on. But in terms of, that makes it really tough, though. I think you have to have a live person swiping left or right on ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want my money basically being determined by a AI. I don't know.
You never know. You never know.
But no, it's an interesting thought, and I think down the line that we, you could definitely see that being a part of, potentially scouting for new ideas.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, Chase, thank you so much for joining us. Chase Johnson is the COO of The Crowd and The Crowd TV. You can find out more about both at thecrowd.net. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Chase.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.